I'm back with another video, and I'm going to do the Disney book tag that was created by Cattytastic. I will link the video in the description below. She created this in honor of the book Isle of the Lost, which is a prequel to a Disney Channel movie about the descendants of the Disney villains. And I was not tagged, but she said anyone who wants to do it can do it. So I'm gonna do it. So here's the Disney book tag, and it goes from different movies, and their descriptions relate to different books. So let's get started. The first one is Little Mermaid, who is a character who is just a fish out of water, completely out of their element. And I'm going to choose Scarlet of the Scarlet Trilogy. Now, this is more relevant in the second book, Lady Thief. And I can't go into too much because spoilers, but she's put in a situation in the second book where she is just completely out of place and incredibly uncomfortable. And it's a really interesting thing to see her struggle in this world that she's put in, because she's used to being out in the woods with the boys, and the role that she is forced to play in the second book is just completely not her. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Lionheart actually comes out on the 19th, so I'm going to be on the hunt for that, definitely, because I want to see how this story ends. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see what happens. The next one is Cinderella, a character who goes through a major transformation, and I'm going to go with Minuet of the Boleyn trilogy. Again, spoilers, and I'm not even finished with this trilogy, but I can kind of see the direction that it's going. In the beginning, she's a very sweet, innocent character. She's kind of a minor lady, except for the fact that she's like Elizabeth's best friend, Princess Elizabeth's best friend, and she has a really kind heart, and she's really sweet. As the story goes on, she still maintains that sweetness, but she does harden a little bit, and she becomes more determined in what she wants, and she's not going to be a pawn in people's games anymore, and she's going to do what she feels is right, even if it gets her into a lot of trouble. So it's really, really interesting to see the transformation of this character in these books, and I can't wait to finish it. Next one is Snow White, a book with an eclectic cast of characters. Now, I do not have these books in my possession because I'm working on buying them myself, but I would have to say the Harry Potter series. That series has every kind of character: good, bad, geeky, jock, living dead, giants, small people, and creatures, and of course Voldemort, the creepy snake man. So I would have to say, yeah, I'm going to go with Harry Potter for the eclectic cast of characters. Next one is Sleeping Beauty, a book that puts you to sleep. Now, that I didn't necessarily fall asleep to this one, but it was a very unevenly paced book, which made it difficult to get through. And that is book 1 of the Cousins War series, and that is The White Queen by Philippa Gregory. Now, I do want to continue with the rest of the series because I have the whole thing. I fangirled on my videos about this series because I love her other books. But there's just something about this particular one. The pacing was very uneven, and it was a lot of mundane details. So it was a challenge to get through. I didn't necessarily fall asleep, but I wasn't in a really big hurry to finish it. I think this took me about a month to read. So yeah, it was good. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, but it was slow. But I am going to try and get through the rest of the series. The next one is Lion King, a character who went through a traumatic experience as a child. Now, I've only read the first book in the series, but I'm going to go with Celaena of the Throne of Glass series because she's 17 years old and she's an assassin. And the little bit that she does reveal about her past, she went through some shit. And I don't know exactly what happens because I haven't read the other 2 books. And I haven't read the prequel novels yet because I don't have them. So I'm sure I'll find out more. But she went through quite a bit to become a female assassin at such a young age. And she continues to go through shit in this book. But it's well worth reading and going through the feels in this series. And I imagine I will not be disappointed in what happens next. So please don't spoil me for what happens. I want to read for myself, but I think Celaena is the perfect choice for this particular category. This next one is actually a non-fiction book, but it fits the category pretty well. It is Beauty and the Beast, a beast of a book that you were intimidated by but ended up loving. And that is actually Team of Rivals by Doris Kearns Goodwin. And this is a beast of a book. The story part is like 757, and then there's 150 odd pages of notes and references, and it's intimidating, but it's a really fascinating book. Actually, the only way I could get through it was listening to the audiobook, but it's really good. And if you like history, especially Civil War and Abraham Lincoln, then I definitely suggest you pick this up because it is fantastic. The next one is Aladdin, a character who has their wish granted. And I'm going to go with The Princess Bride. And this kind of applies to a number of characters, basically the main 4, which is Wesley, Buttercup, Inigo, and Fezzik. And if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, they go on their adventures and they eventually end up pretty much getting what they want in the end, and they all live happily ever after. I'm not saying how, so you're gonna have to read the book or watch the movie, because if you haven't, if you've been living on Mars, they're both fantastic. Get on it. The next category is Mulan, a character who is pretending to be something they're not. Now, this is going back to Throne of Glass, which I've only read the first book, so we'll see what happens as I continue reading. But I'm going to go with Princess Nehemia. That's how you pronounce her name. Can't go into too much because of spoilers, but there's definitely some deception, and she's not exactly the most honest person in the series. So, although she's one of the not as bad kind of people, even though she's a liar, but I can't say too much about it because spoilers. Next one is Toy Story, a character you want to see come to life, and I'm going to go with Larkin from the Circle Trilogy by Nora Roberts because he is adorable. I picture him as this really tall, he has described as tawny hair and tawny eyes, like gold eyes. He's a shapeshifter. He's a nobleman, so he comes from this land called Guile, which is like a alternate universe Ireland. So he's got the brogue, which I always find quite attractive. And did I mention he's a shapeshifter, which is incredible, and he can turn into all kinds of different animals, including a dragon. As I was reading this series, and I won't say how, but I wanted to be Blair in this series so much, because she's closely connected to him. And oh my goodness, it was just so good, and I want him to come to life, because he is one of my fictional boyfriends. Sorry, Joe. But it's only fiction, so my real life boyfriend has nothing to worry about. But oh my goodness, this guy is, and he's funny and charming. And I just love this scene where they're in Ireland and they go out to a pub when they're supposed to be running errands for the group, and he talks Blair into going to a pub, and they're sitting and talking, and he's flirting with the barmaid, and she's so good. And the last one is Disney Descendants. Who is your favorite villain? Now, I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's definitely very villainous. For current lack of a better word. This man is just evil, and I'm going to go with Prince John in the Scarlet Trilogy. Another reason I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on Lionheart, because I want to see what happens to him in the final book. And this man is just, he's evil. And especially in book 2, where he actually makes an appearance. And of course it's based in the Robin Hood legends, so he's casted as very, very mean. And he's just, oh my goodness, I can't even, because 1, spoilers, and 2, I wanted to reach through the pages of the book and just choke him, because some of the stuff that he did. And his wife wasn't much better. So see what happens in the final. Poor Scarlet. That's all I have to say is poor Scarlet. And poor Robin Hood. Oh. So that was the Disney book tag. I'm gonna go get myself some breakfast and coffee, because it's really early in the morning as I'm filming these videos. And I will have another video up soon, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye!